What's up friends, today we're back with another video on some wheels. In this video we're going to be talking about the Revel Snugs wheels, and I'll be giving you some of my first impressions and the efficiency test. Now you're probably wondering, what exactly are you doing here in the studio? Don't you normally record these on the board? Well, yes I do, but I'll tell you what happened after the intro. Alright, so why exactly am I in the studio and not on my board? Well, I have a GoPro, and a couple months ago I jumped on it with my mountain board on accident, and it kind of broke it a little bit, and it turns out that it broke it more than I thought, and over time it has gotten worse and worse. And the other day when I was recording this video, I just decided that it didn't want to record the first clip. So the first part of this video is going to be a little bit of voiceover type content, and we're going to be talking about some of my first impressions of these wheels and what it's like to install them. Now, this is not the full review of these wheels, keep that in mind. This is just the efficiency test and first thoughts. So, in the background of this talking portion, I'm going to put up some video from me riding the Snugs around the local area, and this was before I recorded the efficiency test, and that was actually technically my first ride, but you know, first impressions are in the first 2 rides, first 5 rides, whatever, doesn't really matter. So that's what you'll see in the background, and I'm just going to be talking over that. So what exactly do I want to cover in this talking portion? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is the installation of these wheels. Now, the Revel Snugs wheels are a brand new offering from Revel, like I said, and they're made of rubber and aluminum. This aluminum core is an ABEC clone core, but there have been some reports of people having a little bit of trouble getting pulleys to actually fit in them. Now, I actually used 3D printed pulleys for this particular ride that I did the efficiency test on, and I was able to fit those in just fine. But 3D prints flex a little bit, and they're a little bit easier to work with than something like a metal press fit pulley. So your mileage may vary if your pulleys are going to fit or not. I have a set of Board Dynamics metal ABEC core pulleys, and I had a little bit of trouble fitting those in. They use pins to install into the ABEC core, and I think what I'm going to have to do is drill out the core a little bit to properly fit those. So I'm not sure, this might be something for me to bring up with Revel and talk about why different pulleys might not be fitting on here, but you might just want to be aware that that could be an issue for you. So the next thing I want to talk about in this portion of the video is the impact and vibration absorption. Now, typically from what I've found, the rubber wheels in e-skate tend to absorb a little bit more vibration and impact than the urethane ones. Now, of course, this will depend on a whole host of things: wheel size, the rebound of the urethane, the softness of the urethane, tread patterns, what core is in there, how heavy it is, all kinds of different things. But in general, I've found that the rubber ones tend to be a little bit more comfortable, unless the rubber layer is really thin or it's really hard like the Cyclone. So where exactly do these wheels fall? If you feel these wheels with your hand, the rubber does feel pretty soft, and that is very true. It is quite soft rubber. And for me, I would say that my most comfortable rubber wheel is the Onsra 115mm rubber wheel. They cycle with a lot of battery, but they're very comfortable. I think this one is going to place second after the Onsra with vibration and impact absorption, with the Cyclone wheels following third, and then the Eovan RF airless wheels in fourth. Now, you probably will think this is a little weird, because you might look at this wheel and think, that doesn't look like a lot of rubber, doesn't look like it would absorb that much impact. But the thing is, the size and shape of a rubber wheel will determine exactly how it responds to impacts and vibration. And it just so happens that the design of the the Revel wheel is pretty good at absorbing vibrations and impacts. Now, you could compare the performance of this wheel, for me anyway. I would say that it's very similar to how a Torqueboard's 110mm 72A urethane wheel performs. Similar comfort. I might even say that the 72A wheels could be even more comfortable than these, because the 72A wheels are somewhat comparable to the Onsras, but you know, people's mileage may vary, and I've heard lots of people say that torque road wheels are very bouncy. And I've not really found that these Revel Snugs are super bouncy when you hit impacts and stuff, but again, I've not been riding them for too long, so this is just first impressions. So first impressions, they're pretty comfortable, and they're good at vibration and impact absorption. All right, now we will be moving on to the portion of the video that was actually captured on my camera, and my camera died again at the end of the video, so there'll be another portion from my phone. So I apologize for the kind of jankiness of this video, but technical difficulties happen, and it is what it is. Hopefully you're still able to get some useful information out of this and figure out if the Revel Snugs are something that you would be interested in looking at. Keep in mind, I will be doing a full review on these wheels, and also keep in mind that I am an affiliate of Revel, but all these opinions are my own. So check out that discount code in the description if you're interested in getting these wheels. And let's move on to the riding portion. All right, so the next thing about these wheels that I'd like to talk about a little bit is their grip. Now, one of the major benefits of rubber wheels over urethane has been that they tend to have a bit more grip, and especially if there's any dampness to the road. Now, here in Southern California, where it rains like 3 days a year, I don't typically have to worry about running into puddles. And if I do run into puddles, I usually just go slow on them and don't worry about trying to slip out. So I'm not sure if I can really offer much comment on the grip on wet surfaces, but I will say that these wheels have fantastic grip on asphalt, and I think you would be hard pressed to actually slide these out. And you're going to find that that is similar for all of the different rubber wheels, the Flash airless, the Eovan airless, the Onsra airless, because they all share that same rubber compound build instead of urethane. Now, there are new wheels coming out on the market soon, like the Mad E-Skate boosted 105 wheels, the Momentum wheels. I can't think of another one, but those two are a urethane build, but they have some unique characteristics to them that might offer similar grip to something like a rubber wheel. Now, the grip on these is fantastic, and you might think that they would have less grip than the Onsras, and that is somewhat true. There is a little bit less grip than the Onsras simply because the Onsra has a wider contact patch and just a lot more room to flex and fully conform to the road. However, these wheels are super maneuverable, and that's just kind of a hard thing to describe when you're riding, but sometimes with wider wheels like the Onsras, your board can feel a little bit sluggish on turns, and that is definitely not the case with these 105 wheels. Now, another thing to consider with these wheels being as slim as they are is the rolling resistance. And I've found so far that these wheels offer a very good rolling resistance in comparison to something like the Onsras. Now, the Onsras were never as resistant, I don't think that's the right word, but they were never as bad as pneumatic wheels, of course, because pneumatic wheels are air-filled and they conform to the road a lot more. So the Onsras have good rolling resistance. These definitely have better, and I would compare these to the Meepo Cyclone wheels. However, these are definitely a little bit more comfortable than those Cyclone wheels because they're softer and are able to absorb more vibrations. Now, let's see, is there anything else that I want to cover? The goal of this ride is, of course, to provide the efficiency, but I already have some numbers in my head from the rides that I've done so far, and I happen to know that these fall in between the Onsras and the Cyclones in efficiency, falling in around 25 watt-hours per mile. Now, we'll see what the test says today. I'm expecting it might be a little bit higher because of the wind, but I'm probably going to apply a correction factor to both this ride and the Cyclone Wheels ride to compensate for that extra wind resistance. Something like maybe 10% I think is fair according to some of my Google searching. But we'll see what the numbers come out to and try to give it as best chance as possible. I definitely expect these to be more efficient than other rubber wheels in general because of how slim they are and how light they are. That's one other thing to mention. These wheels are extremely light. They're actually the lightest wheel that I own besides a 105mm cloud wheel. Now, people will always say one way or another with wheel weight, whether it matters or not, and I have not done any testing to have conclusive evidence if the wheel weight is a major impact on range or not. My current belief is that yes, wheel weight can affect range, but it's definitely not the only thing to consider. So with these 105mm wheels, we definitely have the advantage with that extremely light weight. You would think that since they have a metal core that they're going to be heavier, but unlike the Eovan 125s, they're not gigantic. So the metal core probably makes less of a difference on the overall weight. I'll put the weight up on the screen for you guys to see. I honestly don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I just know that it was on the lower side for all the wheels that I've tested, coming in just above the cloud wheel weight. So yeah, that's something they got going for them. So let's continue this ride, and I will come back if there's anything else that I can think of. Before we try to close out this video, I did want to point out some of the gear I'm wearing today. Today I've got on the Zenito helmet, which they sent to me and I will be doing a review on. And I'm also wearing my Pivot socks that I got at EskateCon. Also going to be getting a review video somewhat soon. I'm going to keep wearing them for quite a few more rides before I get conclusive evidence, but initial impressions is they are very comfortable. Now, I don't really have too much else to talk about these wheels, but I do want to briefly touch on durability. Now, another thing with rubber wheels that is pretty common is that they tend to wear out a lot faster than urethane. And while I've seen an Onsra 115 that is probably nearly half the size of its original shipped state, I've never seen a urethane wheel that is worn down quite that much. So just that alone is pretty good evidence that rubber wears down faster. Now, one thing that I noticed with these, which is kind of weird, is that if you're riding on a very light colored concrete and you accelerate from a stop or brake heavily, these will straight up leave a line on the concrete, even if you didn't skid. And that just goes to show how soft this rubber is on here. Now, that is a good thing and a bad thing. One, they're probably going to wear down kind of fast, but it means that you have a ton of grip, because if it's going to be gripping that well at low speed, it's definitely going to grip well at high speed. So that is pretty much lined up with my riding experience so far, and just some weird random thing that I wanted to point out while doing this video. Now, again, I'll come back if there's anything else I can think of, but I'll probably just catch you guys at the end when I have my efficiency number. Alright, so regretfully, my GoPro decided to die while I was recording, so I didn't have anything else to say at the end of this trip, but we have come out with the final efficiency number, which is going to be 25.9 watt-hours per mile. Now, even given the small bit of wind today, that's still pretty good. I think I'm still going to apply the 10% correction factor because the wind was almost the same as it was on the Cyclone wheels day. Again, this is probably still kind of a weird thing for you guys to see in an efficiency test, applying a correction factor, but you know, it's just the reality of testing. And for the actual review, I will have a lot more data to go over for your guys' comparison's sake. Anyway, these wheels seem to be pretty efficient. I'm pretty happy with that because it gives us a rubber wheel that doesn't suck up all of your battery. Now, I'm not sure if there's a better alternative to these right now in terms of efficiency versus grip, but hopefully the Momentum wheels or some of the wheels that are coming out in the near future will find a place alongside these. Now, the only other thing I wanted to say is that these wheels are really a pretty nice ride. They're super maneuverable, again, hard to explain, but they're very agile. The efficiency is good, the grip is great, and overall, the vibration absorption and impact absorption is good as well. So hopefully you guys found this video interesting. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to keep making these videos. I don't really have to record these, I could just put it in the reviews, but it gives me an easy thing to crank out and give you guys a little bit more content to watch. Yeah, again, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you got some of these Revel Snugs, because honestly, they're a pretty good deal. Don't forget to use my discount code in the description, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.